From the sports desk, now concerned cricket lovers implore the current Cricket South Africa board and the member council, including the Exco, to immediately step down. CSA has been embroiled in boardroom drama for quite some time now, at least well over a year, due to governance issues. Now, former Gauteng Cricket Board Chairperson Barry Skjoldhammer joins me live now in studio to discuss this call to the cricket body. Mr. Skjoldhammer, very good evening to you. There have been calls from all corners of the cricket fraternity for the board to step down. You guys have put out an open letter to the national organization. What makes you think that this call will be heeded?
Our call won't necessarily be heeded, but we hope that it's the first of many that can just inundate the board to step down.
Now, you say in your open letter that you want the interim member council to be free of, and I quote, members currently occupying positions in the higher echelons of CSA. Do you have any names in mind, perhaps?
I don't think it's fair to mention names. They know who they are. They're the people who have been obstructive. They're the people who've failed in the governance duties, etc., etc.
Now, but if maybe perhaps you did have any kinds of candidates, what is it that you think these particular candidates who maybe you would like to see come in can do for South African cricket? Because at this point, the sport is at its lowest.
It certainly is, and I think that there are many candidates around the country who could step in as on an interim council.
Now, the summary of the Funduzi report, Mr. Skjoldhammer, essentially lays much, if not all of the blame, at Thabang Moero's feet, the former chief executive who was dismissed following that report. Do you think that's fair, that a lot of the blame was laid on him?
Certainly not. There was a whole board that endorsed decisions that were made, plus the executive endorsed those decisions.
You used to work at the Gauteng Cricket Board. He was involved in Gauteng cricket before he ascended to the top job in Cricket South Africa. Speak to us about Thabang Moero, if you do know much about him as an administrator in South African cricket.
I think Thabang was a very capable administrator. I never actually worked with him. Thabang got involved after 2011 when I left, 2010 actually, when I left the board. But Thabang, by all accounts, has been an able administrator. That's not to say that he was the right man to be the CEO, necessarily.
Now, I had a chat with people you may know, Mr. Iqbal Khan and Mr. Omar Henry, on our sports feature show on Saturday, Inside Sport. And one of the questions I put to them was, did the South African cricket governance issues begin after Harun Logat, when Thabang came into power, or has this been an issue that South African cricket has been facing for several years now, before even Thabang? And they were both of the idea that, in fact, Harun had South African cricket quite well, quite steady, and then everything just fell apart when he left. Do you share the same sentiments?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary. However, CSA never implemented the Nicholson Commission recommendations, and in full. And there were a lot of those recommendations that they avoided, if you like.
Now, we still don't know when we're going to get back to international cricket. We don't even know. We know domestic cricket is about to happen in November and in January with the replacement of the Mzansi Super League. But international cricket, what a lot of South Africans care to know about. The summer series should be starting in December, and yet we don't know if we have an opponent and if we'll even play. How detrimental is this delay in an announcement of whether the women, the Momentum Proteas women and our men will get back to action?
Yeah, Morena, I think the shenanigans in the board and the playing issues need to be separated. I think a decision needs to be made very urgently, particularly about the England tour. The England tour needs to go ahead for South African cricket and for world cricket. The money comes out of TV rights, and it needs to happen immediately.
Speak to me just before I let you go, Mr. Skjoldhammer, about the dangers, if any, about the involvement of the sports ministry, government essentially, in these issues that Cricket South Africa are facing. We know FIFA never has told member associations to never get involved in world football. That's their baby. What dangers, if any, do we face if government gets involved with these issues at CSA?
I think, as with rugby, cricket, everything else, the ICC does not want government intervention. It's part of their rules and laws. But I think SASCOC is a sporting body, and SASCOC needs to take action, because I don't see who else can do it.
Mr. Skjoldhammer, thank you very much for your time this evening. That is former Gauteng Cricket Board Chairperson Barry Skjoldhammer chatting to us about his and other cricket-loving people's dissatisfaction at the way Cricket South Africa is being run.